season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators!
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX New Haven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And now, the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
That is not winning football.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action.
Billy Napier's play calling stuff. He's a terrible head coach.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
I'm blown away how bad Florida is. As a Seminole fan, I'm enjoying it.
The Sports Blitz.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want because you're an Alabama fan.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What time it is. It's time for the Sports Blitz here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are excited about being here on a Tuesday. We're pumped up, primed up, and ready to go. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about today. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in and be a part of the show, 850-215-6290. We're excited about it. We're pumped up. As always, on Tuesday, I got LSU Jeff in here with his Caribbean shirt on. How you doing there, Jeffrey?
I don't know if it's Caribbean. It's got what do you call lighthouses all over it.
Oh, I didn't see the lighthouses. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I was looking at the boats and all that. So that's more like a North Carolina thing.
Exactly. I've never been to the Outer Banks. Have you?
No, never have.
I need to go. It's on my list.
Yeah, I've never been to the Outer Banks. I hear that's pretty nice out there, kind of a quaint town or whatever. I just like the hot beach and the hot water. I don't love the cold water. So you got to go to those East Coast times, at specific times, because if you don't, it'll be cold.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be, 3 weeks from now, and it'll be too cold in North Carolina.
It'll be windy and
you know what got me? So I lived up near Washington, D.C., and for like Labor Day and Memorial Day, they charge an arm and a leg over there at Virginia Beach, and it's like cold water. And I'm like, you people are paying how much for a hotel room just to be next to cold water?
Yeah.
I mean, just get a plane and just go down to Florida and you'll be spending the same amount of money. I'm like, you people, I don't know.
Yeah, and the sand. What's up with the sand? It's like mud. It's it's brown. It's not
don't even
white.
try Louisiana because we don't have any beaches, Yeah. and I don't know if you know this, but the whole Mississippi Gulf Coast, all that sand is imported.
Yeah.
It's not natural.
It's not natural. Yeah.
Because when the Mississippi River comes down, it just puts mud from Galveston all the way to Mobile. And so all that sand is not natural.
Yeah.
So
well, that's cool.
Oh, well.
You know what? It's awesome to be here on a Tuesday. Already getting some people calling in or texting in on the Facebook. We got Happy Tuesday, Jeff. So there you go. Somebody's probably ready to go. And then, yes, we do have Taylor Devers coming on today. We're going to talk about it and be excited. But we don't want to leave him out because he's doing the ones and the twos. Bone Crusher, the crusher of bones, is in the building. Bone Crusher, how are you today?
Rant of the day. I'm jogging through my neighborhood, South Lagoon, last night. My neighbors, apparently it's trash night for some of them, and they got their trash piled up. It is spilling over out of their trash cans into the street. I mean, if you've got a Herbie Kirby with that much trash, you're part of the problem. You get one bin. That's all you get. If you make more trash than that in your week, you're part of the problem, and I'm judging you. Thank you.
All right. That's a public service announcement.
I mean, like, what was it? Was it a party? It was a bunch of beer cans and stuff?
No, it's just my neighbors and their mass consumption.
Yeah.
Well,
I like to eat now.
I understand that part, but the part of the story that was most impressive to me is Bone Crusher jogging around his neighborhood at night. That's pretty good. You're on it. So not only are you on the diet,
not Atkins. What is it?
The pork chop and cream cheese diet.
Yeah, but you call it by a name.
The
What's
keto
The
diet.
keto diet.
Keto
So he's
diet.
on the keto diet, and he's running laps around the neighborhood.
What has gotten into
Oh,
him,
man. So, I
this
mean-
guy's going to show up like all, I don't know,
I
get
know-
the beach bod on for the winter.
I already know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. He's getting ready because he's going to be Richard Simmons for Halloween.
With the headband and
Yes.
the curls.
That's right. We're excited about that. But anyway, good to have everybody here. We're excited about it. We're going to be talking a lot about college football, but we have to discuss what's going on with Major League Baseball today, having our first game, and the Tigers and the Guardians. And it looks like the Tigers take game 1, 2-1. Over the Guardians. You know, it was such a push for the Guardians to get into the playoffs, and then who they were going against basically was the last games of the season was against the Tigers, and they were handling the Tigers. And it was crazy just how that you got the first day of the playoffs, and the Tigers give it to them 2-1.
You know, preseason, I had the Guardians in.
Yeah.
But, you know, as the season went along, you know, it was kind of iffy, you know. And then what was it? The Astros missed out, right?
Yeah, the Astros
And
are done.
that was the wrong call I did. I was thinking, you know, steady the boat and the Astros will get in. And I said the same thing about the Mets, and that's the two ones that I missed on. But if I gave an award away to, like, the teams that definitely – I don't know if you realize this, but the Blue Jays went from last to first.
Wow.
Yeah. And that should be an award right there. I mean,
well, there's
that's
so many
remarkable.
things that were going on this year for Major League Baseball that was just crazy. I mean, the Reds getting
yeah.
into the playoffs.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
didn't see that coming.
No.
And then the debacle of the New York Mets.
Oh.
I mean, top 3 in salary, huge payroll, all these stars. Juan Soto going from the Yankees to the Mets, supposed to bring them to postseason glory, and they don't even make the playoffs. They go, I think it was like, ended up being like 3-15 for the last 18 ball games or something crazy like that. So it wasn't just the pitching, it was both. It was pitching and hitting, and they just did not get it done.
And I think there was a point, in June maybe, where we were looking at 3 teams possibly coming from the the NL East, and only one made it.
Yeah, that's crazy. And one of the listeners said that Chat GPT said that the Tigers would win by 1. And
really?
they did. Yeah. So
for game 1.
for game
Okay,
1.
I got
yeah.
you.
So either way.
Well, we have the Cubs and the Padres right now.
Yeah, they're going on right now, and I think the Cubs
2-1.
are up right now 2-1.
Yeah, in the bottom of the 7th, but
So
it might
that
have
one's-
moved to the 8th already by now.
That one's
Who
going to
knows?
be a close one. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know who said it the other day that the Padres probably could make a run. I don't know about that. It depends on their pitching. I think they'll have enough from the plate.
It was
pitching.
Brian.
Okay,
Brian.
I couldn't
Yeah.
remember, but either way, we're going to discuss more about baseball tomorrow after we have all the first round playoffs. But let's go into last night's NFL stuff that we had. You had the Broncos playing the Bengals. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think about Bo Nix? Former Auburn quarterback, former Oregon quarterback. What do you think about Bo Nix? Because realistically, you know, usually after your good rookie season, there's always what they call that sophomore slump.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple of games where he wasn't as good, but he did play really well last night. I think he was like, 29 for 42, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw the 1 pick, but at that point it didn't matter. So you like that combination of him and Sean Payton? We talked about it a little bit because you're a Sean Payton guy because of.
Well,
I'm saying
yeah.
you think he's a good coach. I think
Yeah,
he's a good coach.
I think he's a good coach.
And so
It's a tough division with 4 coaches like that.
yeah, that's going to be that's the biggest part of the.
And I think that's the reason why I have to look back as if I said 9-8 or 10-7 for the Broncos. You know,
but you did say they were going to make the playoffs. I think
it's
you
like
said.
the last wild card. So I probably did say 10-7 when I wrote it down. But yeah. So I mean, tough schedule.
Yeah.
You know, but the Bengals are missing Burrow. This is not a real. I don't want to say test, but
Well, I'm just going to let's talk about that for a moment.
3 points.
You have got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
This project is not working, and what's going to happen is they're going to get so far in the hole to the place to where I don't care if you bring Clark Kent in at quarterback, they're not going to win their last 8 games in a row when Burrow finally comes back, because you know how things are. You don't just come back from surgery and come up, and be 100% and ready to go. He's going to have to work himself back into it. But the big glaring situation is you spend all this money over the offseason on your wide receivers, on Jamar Chase, on T. Higgins. And last night, check this out. Last night, they had 8 catches for 45 yards combined. 8 catches for 45 yards combined. Now, that's crazy. And on one of the plays, I don't know what Zach Taylor was doing. Let's just, I've told you this. You understand this about me. There's always that question of who's the best wide receiver in the NFL, and a lot of people think it's Justin Jefferson, and then the other people think it's Jamar Chase. Well, I'm on the Jamar Chase bandwagon as far as that goes. And if you don't throw the ball to your best player, we had Coach Tommy Joe Whitten in here yesterday. One of the glaring things that he said is if you've got a Division I football player on your team, you're going to make sure that he gets the certain amount of touches every single game, especially games that you are, needing to win. And that's the key. They're not throwing the ball to Jamar Chase. If they're doubling Jamar Chase, then that means they're singling up on T. Higgins. So you've got to do one or the other, because both of those guys you just spent a whole bunch of money on, but you're not throwing him the football.
Yeah.
So, that's the big problem for the Bengals. And go ahead and we'll mark this day as something to be said. If they don't find them another backup quarterback or do something different, Zach Taylor could be on the short list of finding him a new job.
Exactly when you started talking, I thought, what's going to happen? Well, Zach Taylor's going to lose his job.
Yeah, because you've got to get the ball to your playmakers. You can't tell me there's not plays out there that can get the ball out of the quarterback's hands so quick, because let's just be honest. Jake Browning, yes, he's an NFL quarterback. He can throw the ball way better than I can. But, however, he is not getting the job done. You cannot score 3 points in an NFL football game. You can't be 14 of 25 for 125 yards in a pro football game.
Yeah, and another thing, I don't like how the NFL is going with. I talked about it yesterday. There's a stupid stat out there I can't stand. It's yards per attempt.
Yeah,
I hate that. I want to look at yards per completion.
Yeah,
because that tells me if you're just throwing in the flat, you're just lofting the ball over here and over there, and not throwing real passes. 12 or 15 or 18 yards down the field.
Yeah,
because it says about 3 different things, but. You have to have a quarterback that's willing and able to do that. And then, again, you look at the yards, you look at completions, it's not even 10 yards per completion.
No.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah. And you can't, I get it. He's making $2, $3, $4 million a year to be the backup. I understand that's, what they do. But with all of these quarterbacks available, with all these guys sitting the bench right now, isn't there somebody that you could go and get? Isn't there somebody that you grab?
I'll absolutely say no, there's not. Because otherwise, Saints would have just one good quarterback. And it's not that way right now. Rattler's not good. Show, or whatever his name is, from second round this year?
Yeah.
He's no good. Come on. It's when you have teams out there have nobody, that says something.
Well, the Bears, they've got a backup quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles has a backup quarterback. Both of those quarterbacks have played meaningful games at times. Jalen Hurts was hurt last year. That kid came in, won the game for the Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles has a great team.
Yeah.
But also, if you look at the kid out of Chicago, he's a good quarterback, and I would be ringing his phone, because let's just be real about it. We can't you be loyal in the NFL is going to find you unemployed. You can't be loyal to people if they can't produce. If they don't produce, you got to be willing to let them go. And that's the part of the game that you've got to learn how to play, or you're going to be NFL, which means not for long, realistically.
And loyal to people, the franchise that pops into my head, because they take care of their own and they treat their people right, is actually the Steelers, and they do win.
Yeah.
They don't just discard people, That's a franchise that treats people right.
Yeah. And that's that's part of the game. But
So back to the Broncos. Knicks, I don't even know what to say. Top 15, top 18 quarterback?
Maybe.
Somewhere up in that range.
Yeah, well, I don't know. With the emergence of Daniel Jones, with the emergence of Trevor Lawrence, with the emergence of Caleb Williams, with the emergence of Justin Herbert.
Caleb Williams better than Knicks.
That's what I'm saying. So all of these guys getting better and having decent years.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to talk about Rattler. You're going to talk about Bryce Young right now. You're going to talk about, you know, all of these guys they're not
Well, I'm
winning.
not talking about Bryce. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Those are not winning. Okay.
That are not winning and not doing very good and having problems with the offense moving the football. You know, even Cam Ward's struggling right now. And most people assert that to the offensive line, but I saw a comparison, and his numbers are the same as Will Levis's were last year as well. So when you look at it, you know, he's just in the bottom right now until they figure it out.
So here's the bad part about last night. The Broncos put away the Bengals, and those are the better teams. And then you have 2 0-3 teams having a competitive game.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad that you're watching the trash. And I'm a Dolphins fan. Okay, so don't get me wrong, and I hate the Jets, by the way. So I'm not celebrating. The Dolphins are 1-3, but
yeah. Well, we're going to go to the Red 70s phone line. We got Ryan from Panama City finishing up at work. What's going on, Ryan? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh man, we're rolling in here. What's happening?
So you guys are talking about no QBs around the league available for people like the Bengals and people like that. So you remember when Russell Wilson took a $1 million contract to go to the Steelers, I believe?
Yes.
What do you think about something like that for Kirk Cousins from the Falcons to the Bengals?
Well,
he's already got a ton of guaranteed money.
Yeah, so the way that works, if I'm saying this correctly, because I had mentioned that and I read up on it a little bit. So what the other team would have to do is they would have to come to an agreement with the Falcons and pay some of that money. So yes, you could sign him for $1 million, but you would be a part of the $150 million that they. So in essence, even if you went at half, you'd still be at like a $70 million deal to get Kirk Cousins. But
gotcha.
But when you look at it, at the end of the day, somebody like Kirk Cousins would probably work out perfectly with the Bengals. You're exactly right. He's somebody that you can
he might not take him to a Super Bowl, but he's at least a serviceable quarterback. I mean, he's not a million years old. He's at least intelligent in the position.
Yeah, and he could probably win you 4 games until Joe Burrow gets back to the place to where they wouldn't be in the bottom of the division, and then they wouldn't have to hope that all the other teams lose so that they can finally get to the playoffs.
Exactly, just something to make a hole that's not so big that Joe Burrow's got to dig out of when he comes back.
So I thought the same thing about Matt Ryan, that he had value after he left the Falcons, but apparently I was wrong. And how many quarterbacks have left the Falcons and gone and done something somewhere else? I can't even think of I don't know if there's like a Billy Joe Tolliver or Chandler or somebody like that. Falcons quarterbacks have never gone somewhere else and done something in my memory.
Brett Favre.
But he didn't even get to play at the Falcons.
Well, but hold on a second. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the people that you're thinking about are just the ones that stayed there. If you look at Kirk Cousins' resume, he's won at every single spot he's went to, coming off as being a backup.
But the Falcons.
But he still won. He won some games, is what I'm saying. And he got
I
pulled.
have to look up what his record is.
Yeah, he
it's
got
probably
pulled.
1-4.
No, he had more than one win, for sure.
We had a quarterback that went and played for Houston for the Texans for a long time. Schwab, was that his name?
Matt Schwab.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's another one, Jeff.
Oh, he was a Falcon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I never
he was.
knew that.
Yeah, he was there. He actually spelled Michael
I
Vick.
forgot we have a Falcons guy behind me. He's like stabbing me in the back. He's like, take this.
Live fact checking.
Thank you. Thank you for that fact check.
So Ryan, do you know the 2 guys that I was talking about earlier? The kid that backs up Jalen Hurts, and then the other kid that's at the Chicago Bears. Those two guys are really decent. They don't have a lot of starting experience, but they're two as well that could possibly doing what you're talking about. They could come in, maybe it might not be $1 million, but they probably could get them for about 3 or 4 and, be serviceable in that role as well.
Yeah, but see, then you run into the problem of why would the Eagles give somebody away? They got a chance to actually do something. And if they got a quarterback that's a backup that's half decent, to me, what if I need them, in week 15, 16, 17?
Yeah, that's
when we're actually driving towards something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. That's probably why they're not even wanting to give him up, because as well as I do, as much as Jalen Hurts runs the football, there's always that possibility of a sprained ankle, of a sore hamstring, or, any kind of knee injury that might cause him to be out.
So Badger,
because there's no benefit to giving him up. You shed a few $1 million.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, that's exactly right.
It's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So if you got somebody that you trust, there's really no benefit for somebody to leave a place like that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. When you look at that, that's a very good point. I didn't really, I was just trying to help the Bengals, because it just seems like every time, and we always talk about Tua's injuries, but Burrow seems to be getting hurt a lot. And I know it's the offensive line, but man, he does just seem like he gets hurt a lot.
Well, you got to go somewhere where the offensive line don't start the plate in sleeping bags, just laying down.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because those guys on defense look like they're running the 40.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
And the thing is having those wide receivers that they have, it's crazy, because you need to have those kind of guys to really make a big deal, and they've got a good tight end. So it baffles me that they don't have anybody on that offensive line to, I don't know. I don't know. They're spending all their money on the weapons, and they don't have anybody protecting their greatest weapon.
So, you got these great wide receivers, these Hall of Fame wide receivers, but you got a quarterback that's got no ability to have any trust to stand in the pocket and wait for a route to develop.
Yeah. Because
he knows he's about to get lit up from the back, put off the.
Yeah, and you got to think Jake Browning. If Burrow can't stay on his feet, Jake Browning can't stay on his feet.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But either way, yeah, I think we're losing you, Ryan. I think our phone line is messing up right now. But either way, we do have to take our next break. We appreciate you calling in, Ryan. We appreciate it, brother. Anytime, call. We appreciate that. But when we come back, we're going to be talking to Taylor Devers from Chop Chat, Norvell Central. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Are you sick of the old sports talk? The vanilla opinions? The polite debates? The hosts who are afraid to say what they really think? So are we. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is bringing the house. It's the new Sports Blitz.
Weekdays, 4 to 6.
We're starting arguments, not conversations. The Sports Blitz.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Tuesday. The remainder of the day, some sun and an 86 with a gentle breeze out of the north around 11 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with lows around 71. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a gentle breeze and a temperature near 86. Moving into Thursday, about the same with a high of 84 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida, Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia and supplies, new and vintage cards and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory or visit online, instantReplaySportsCards.com.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios.
The kings of the swamp.
Falls loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The new Sports Blitz.
Oh, yeah.
Rants, hot takes, and huge reactions are incoming on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7Ts phone line, 850-215-6290. We're pumped up. We're excited. You know, we apologize for the phone having a problem earlier, but we got it fixed. Everything's good to go, so you can call that line anytime. Speaking of calling in, we've got the big dog from the Seminole tribe, Taylor Devers, Chop Chat, Norvell Central. Taylor, are you okay, my friend?
I am okay. It's not the greatest in the world, but we're making it.
Well, buddy, if you realize I did not text you over the weekend, I didn't talk to you until we started, getting ready for the show and just going over some things. But, I'm not that guy. But either way, man, let's talk about it. Florida State. How's it feel?
Well, I will say this, and I don't really want to toot my own horn, but at the beginning of the season, we went over the schedule for Florida State. I said that this Virginia game could make or break the season. Can really be the first test. Now, granted, I didn't know if we would beat Alabama. I said we were potentially on the ropes of having a good team, but that Virginia game on the road was such a weird spot. After 2 cupcakes, you really didn't know what to expect. Miami's on the upswing, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later, but that Virginia team came to play. It was an unfortunate case of situation there, and I really didn't know how Florida State was going to respond when they went down kind of early in the game, and man, that double overtime really got me for a loop.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to sound like a jerk, but here we go.
What's new?
Reality check. I don't think Virginia did show up to play. And I think Florida State, with those 2 turnovers early, and then Virginia jumped up 14-0, I was thinking, man, Florida State's trying to give this game away. And then when Florida State responded defiantly, I believe it was, I can't remember if it was just the 2 touchdowns and it was 14-14, or whether I think it might have been 21-14 at one point for Florida State. And then I was thinking, okay, Florida State's in control. This is not going to be an upset. And that's when Virginia responded, at that point in the game. And there were times where I just felt like Virginia was playing up to Florida State's level. And that crowd, I'm not knocking that crowd. Charlottesville, they showed up, man.
They were jumping.
Those kids were electrified. And they really believed that they had a shot at winning. And This is a close game. This could have gone easily either way, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of times where I thought, Florida State could really get it to go. There was a specific play. I think Florida State they were up 21-14 at that point. Jerry Wilson jumped what should have been an interception, basically drops the pick six, and it goes straight to the Virginia receiver. It goes all the way down to the 26-yard line. Next thing you know, on the next play, Jamari Taylor gets a huge run. Earl Little comes right up the middle, misses a broken tackle, theme of the game, basically. The defense couldn't wrap up to save their life. And he was able to get the 26-yard touchdown, and it's a tie ball game going into the halftime.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that you really didn't anticipate Florida State. You brought the physicality by able to physically hit the guy, but you weren't able to wrap up. I just thought that Florida State brought some energy, but they brought it too late. Like, you come to a situation where you're down 14-0. You faced adversity. You were able to get past that adversity. You were able to put them away. And I even talked about it when Florida State beat Alabama. They had a situation where they were able to put it on their throat, and they weren't able to finish the job. You fumbled the punt return, and Alabama kind of felt a little bit more energy, and you really weren't able to put them away until the very end of the game. I thought that was a similar situation here. You were able to get down early. You weren't really able to get kind of the rhythm of the game, and now you're kind of looking at yourself in the mirror, kind of figuring out, okay, we got to come back in this game. Just Florida State really didn't have a lot of fight until the end of the second half.
Yeah, and I'm going to quote the great Mike Tyson, it's all fun and games until you get hit in the mouth. And that's exactly what happened to them. And you made a good point, and that was, to me, the key of the game for the whole game was the fact the physicality wasn't there. Florida State was not imposing their will, even though they were a bigger team. They wasn't, like you said, wrapping up, but it was more about there was no physicality from my standpoint about they would be in the right spot, but it was like they just they forgot how to tackle, and I didn't understand it. I just didn't understand moving forward what they were doing, and then like you said, you get in a hostile environment, you get in on the road, and then you give a team hope. And if a team thinks they can beat you and they're up by 3 or it's tied or, they're down by 7, the crowd, and they make one play that shifts the momentum, that swings that momentum to their side, and the next thing you know, you're going to see a game, that could go either way. And those are the games that you don't want to happen with teams that you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, though. Hats off to Thomas Castellanos. He has made some incredible throws late in that game. You saw the fourth down throw to Randy Pittman in the end zone. Shout out to him. Rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and passing touchdown all in the same game. But made an incredible throw to the left side of the end zone. And I thought Florida State might have actually thought about going for 2 there in that situation. They had like 35 seconds left to go in the game. Then Virginia comes out. They try to go down to try to kick a field goal. Jabril Ross picks off the pass there by Chandler Morris, who didn't really have a whole lot of pressure on him. But when Florida State actually got pressure on him, he threw 3 picks.
Yeah. Let me
it's
stop
just a crazy situation.
Let me stop you real quick because I don't know if you know this or not, but Randy Pittman Jr. is a Mosley High School graduate here in Northwest Florida, so over in Lynn Haven, and we had Coach Tommy Joe Whidden on yesterday. But let me I don't know if Jeff saw these stats. I want to read them to Jeff because he had 1 touchdown for 4 yards. He ran a touchdown for 2 yards, and he caught a touchdown for 16 yards. So he had a total of 22 yards of offense, but he had 3 touchdowns.
Oh, my goodness.
So pretty incredible as far as having
was that like
3 touchdowns.
Was it Jerome Bettis or somebody like that had like negative yards and like 3 or 4 touchdowns?
I don't know.
Somebody in the NFL did that, and I was like, this is the craziest stat in NFL history.
Yeah, but Randy Pittman Jr. from Mosley High School, we'll probably reach out and probably try to get him on the show
awesome.
and see what's going on with him. But yeah, big time shout out to him because he really did. I mean, that was a bright spot for him. I agree with you on Chandler Morris. I believe that he's a gunslinger though, and I think that their coach really does put the confidence in his arm. I mean, they believe in him, they trust him, and we talked about this game. We all discussed this game. This was that deal, and your friend that loves to comment when you're on here, Christopher Multicante, he said, let's see, what did he say? He said a lot. He said the fact that everyone knew that this was a trap game should have had Norvell triple ready. What do you think about that? I mean, you got to be ready for these games that you've got more talent. Your talent on your roster is better. You're bigger. You're stronger. You got more momentum. You're undefeated. Was this a coaching problem in your perspective?
Not necessarily. I think this is more of just can't finish the job. You got to tackle. I mean, basic fundamentals you have to tackle. It really didn't do any favors for you when Florida State killed itself early on with turnovers. You got Virginia to punch twice in the first two possessions. And then their offense looked like they couldn't be stopped in the second half and early in the first half as well. It just looked like a team that wanted it more. Let's talk about real quick how Virginia, with their field rushing, literally, I think they were like on the field at the end of the game. Like they might have been there with Squirrel White when he tried to catch the pass because, he probably got trampled through all that. I know he's okay now.
He did. There were 18 injuries. 18 injuries because of the rushing of the field. And that's a security problem. And if you know what a Virginia fence is, do you know what a Virginia fence is?
No.
Virginia fence is those wooden ones where they just throw up basically tree that they cut up, and they'll put they put these posts, okay?
Yeah.
There's a post, okay? And then they put two wooden logs across. Now, this is not plywood. This is like tree-looking stuff.
Uh-huh.
And
that's around their stadium?
No. This is a thing in Virginia that a lot of on the side of the highway, and then people have it in their front yard and everything. It's actually a thing called a Virginia fence. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they don't even have a wall or a Virginia fence or anything at the end zone, it is actually a hill. So those kids were running down a hill onto the field
before the play finished.
Well, no, it was like as soon as it hit like about a half second, they were on the field, and that one pass, I can't remember what the star player for Florida State is. That was the wide receiver. That last
Squirrel
ball.
White.
It was Squirrel White.
Yeah. Squirrel. That's right. Yeah. I do remember that. So he was like laying on the ground. He didn't have time to get up, and those kids were jumping over him and just running around him and everything. He could have easily gotten hurt. And that's the reason why there is penalties for. I don't say penalties, but charges, fines for rushing the field. But let me tell you what ACC has. Not enough money. The fines are horrible. Like, it's like barely a tap on the wrist. SEC, $250,000, $500,000. And then I don't know, it was like $1 million after that. And everyone after that is $1 million.
Yeah, you go up.
ACC's like $50,000. Like, come on, man. They don't have a big enough penalty for rushing the field. And it is a security concern because, there's coaches, there's players and all that. It's not enough state troopers. State troopers are only around the coach.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing, and I'm going to read you what Chris said about that. Chris said if you'll win the football game, you don't have to worry about them crashing the field.
Yeah, well, it's crazy that the fans can all come down the hill like that. That's just insane.
So they had to have started, though, getting to my point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they got on the field before the play was done, but if they were running from a hill, they were running before the play ended so that they could
No, they were all piled up.
They were already piled up?
They were lining up on the edge.
Well, that's a security problem.
Yes.
Because when I was in Kentucky and Kentucky beat Florida, that they already had their perimeter set, and they allowed them on the field, but they allowed them on the field in a safe way. Which is through the exits and entrances.
No, this is running of the bulls. That's what this was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when you look at this game, though, you've got to look at all of the things that the defense didn't do well. The offense scored enough points. There was some turnovers, but you had 3 turnovers on defense. But it was like they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't They couldn't stop them on third down, or the penalties. Talk about the penalties, because that's something else that needs to be discussed.
Yeah, there was a couple penalties there. Earl kind of got a little too into it and kind of too emotional. He had an unnecessary roughness personal foul penalty there where he pushed a guy that was already down in the pile late. It just was uncharacteristic for him. Was a leader on Florida State's defense. Ended up, I think, in the game, had like 14 tackles in the game. He's going to be a tackling machine this year, but just an uncharacteristic play by him. Norvell always talks about controlling your emotions, and you have to do that next week against Miami, by the way. In a game, Friday night, road crowd, everyone's looking at you on the TV, and you have to be able to perform. You have to show your emotions and have that physicality, but you also have to make sure that it's controlled throughout the whole game, and I don't think Florida State did a good job of that. Early on, they got frazzled, and then you have to go into this environment that everyone's looking for an upset. You gave them confidence and gave them life to get to the third and early in the fourth quarter, and now you're coming to a moment where you have to be able to perform, and I don't think Florida State did that. Those penalties were unnecessary. There was a couple where it was an offensive pass interference, a block in the back, and then Earl's push in the back as well. It just didn't seem like a Florida State team that had been and beat an Alabama, beat a Kent State, beat an East Texas A&M so handily, and then you go into a Virginia game and you look kind of lost.
And the thing is having the bye week before being able to really game plan, it seemed like the game plan wasn't you could watch Virginia and you would know what they're going to do because his tendencies are the same tendencies he had at Clemson. And that's the biggest thing. When you look at that, that's what kind of bothered me. And it kind of made me wonder what the state of the program is realistically. And I know that, I know he's your guy, but I do want to go into that. We're going to go ahead and take our next break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss that. And I'm going to tell you whether or not I believe that this Florida State loss really matters. You're listening to the Sports Blitz here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got the first down!
Plus, we'll broadcast more college football games than ever before.
He did what?
Live NFL and college football play here.
Unbelievable!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Touchdown!
Want to do something meaningful without overhauling your schedule? Become a big brother or big sister. It's simple. Hang out, listen, be present. Right now, over 300 children in Northwest Florida are waiting for someone like you. Call 850-433-KIDS or visit BeTheBig.org to learn how you can help shape a child's future today.
When it comes to backyard dreams, trust the name that's been making waves for over 65 years. Cox Pools. Serving the entire Florida Panhandle, Cox Pools brings experience, innovation, and quality to every custom pool design. From luxurious spas to resort-style pools, no vision is too big. Make your backyard the place to be with Cox Pools. Cox Pools, 65 years strong and still making a splash. Visit coxpools.com or call 850-235-7957.
The Angel House Bereavement Center invites you to the Cal G Squires inaugural golf tournament at Bay Point. Tee off Friday morning on October 31st to support Angel House, a 501c3 nonprofit helping children, adolescents, and adults struggling with the pain of life-altering loss. This will be a special day with costumes, prizes, and lunch from Abram Seafood. To sign up or get more information, go to the Angel House Bereavement Center Facebook page or angelhousebci.org.
The Rich Eisen Show.
A rhetorical question, which means I already know the answer and it does not require an answer.
But we'll give you one.
Yeah.
I mean,
man. I really want to answer.
Yeah. Do you think the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell were sending a message on Sunday? Do you? Our favorite Bill Burr soundbite.
Oh, do you?
They were sending a message.
Mighty Ducks. Not worth winning if you can't win big.
Rich Eisen weekdays starting at 11. Now on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. Marquee matchups, huge rivalries, and fan favorites. The college football headquarters on the Gulf Coast is 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Back to the Sports Blitz.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We're excited. We got something that's going on this weekend. I want to read this to you. Don't forget, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is hitting the streets. Join us live on location this Saturday night at the Lone Star Boyle House and Sports Bar for your Miami Hurricanes at the Florida State Seminoles. Watch the game on the outdoor Jumbotron, largest one in Panama City, by the way. The atmosphere is going to be wild and plenty of choice eats with the locals' favorite for seafood. Plus, you can win a pair of tickets to see the Jacksonville Jaguars and ESPN Northwest Florida Station Stash, Canes versus Knowles, Lone Star Boyle House, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City, Saturday night with 104.3 ESPN. The party starts at 6. Kickoff is at 6:30. It's going to be an awesome time. It's going to be fun. Local celebrity LSU Jeff might be there. You might get to meet him there, and maybe he can be over there signing stuff for the kids.
You should go too, and you know what? You should wear orange because Texas is orange and the Gators are orange.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh, come on.
So we've got Taylor Devers on the phone line, Norvell Central Chop Chat. Taylor, let me tell you something, but before we do, I wanted to read what one of our listeners had wrote about college football right now. Keith Moore says that college football and players have changed since the money has came in, and if you push them too hard, they would transfer out. They want the money, and that's all. And I think kind of, playing the old school football of getting out there and screaming at them and all that, I think that's kind of what he's referring to, even though some of the coaches are still doing it. But either way, this loss to Florida State. Now, Taylor, how do you feel about it? Tell me how you feel about it, and then tell me what you think about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was in Doak Campbell Stadium in 2021 when they lost to Jacksonville State. Guess who was sitting 2 rows in front of me? Zarek Cooper's parents, who was the quarterback at Jacksonville State. They planted the flag right on Florida State's midfield, and they defeated the Seminoles in heartbreaking fashion with the entire fan base saying, fire Norvell, he deserves to go, he needs to get out of here. That was a rough experience for Florida State fans. Florida State really didn't know if it was going to get through that difficult time in program history. You really didn't know. You had rival fans going back and forth saying that Florida State couldn't do it. They could never go back to the old days where Bobby Bowden and Jimbo Fisher, and you really thought heartbreak. I didn't think it was up to that level. I honestly didn't even think it was up to the level of NC State beating us a couple of times on the road with Mike Glennon and Russell Wilson and Jacoby Brissett. I mean, there was a couple of guys there that they thought those were bad losses too. I didn't even think it was to that caliber. I think Chandler Morris is a very good quarterback. Don't think he's in the upper echelon of a Carson Beck who we're going to see this weekend. But I do think he's a solid quarterback who's been in Virginia and also been at other schools as well. Knows the system pretty well. Tony Owett did a phenomenal job there in that game. But just in terms of the loss, I don't think it makes or breaks Florida State if they win this game coming up. But it can kind of alter what Florida State's goals, realistic goals, are for the season, because that eliminates probably a playoff bid if you lose to Miami.
So if you look at it right now, let me give you my opinion about it. And it's going to start with the Alabama-Georgia game the other night. So Kirby was asked about it, and he said, we lost to a good football team, and we just got to move on to the next because there's so many teams playing. Now, he understands something. And I know people are going to disagree with me when I say this right now because everybody wants to go undefeated. But realistically, you're probably not going to go undefeated. Let's just be honest. And so what Kirby has learned is that the SEC, you've just got to survive. You've just got to keep going to the next game. If you lose one, go win the next one. If you lose the next one and you get into the place to where you get more than 2, you've got to make sure you don't lose 3 because that is going to get you out of the playoff, which we've seen in times past. But the ACC, like I've said, this year is in a new place. They're in a new place that they've never been before. This ACC, and it could be because of the NIL. It could be because of the money and the free agency that we have going on currently in college football. But when you look at it right now, this game means absolutely, absolutely nothing. The reason why it means nothing is because until you get to number 3, until you lose 3 games, you are still actively, number 1, available to go to the ACC championship, and number 2, you're still able to go to the college football playoff. With the ACC having the strength that they have this year, you've got a good Georgia Tech team that's undefeated. You've got a good Miami team who's undefeated. You've got an okay team at Louisville that is undefeated. You've got a one-loss Florida State team that beat a good Alabama team that's going to help them as Alabama keeps going up the ranks. You've got another team by the name of Virginia who is a good team and has the tiebreaker over you for the conference. But just like Kirby knows, and as well as I know, if you've got a good conference, they give you more clout in putting you in position to get into the college football playoff. So really, it does not matter to lose to Virginia. As a fan, you don't want to lose any games, but that's not realistic. So if you lose to Virginia, but if you lose to Miami, now is where you can't lose anymore. You've got to win out. You've got to beat everybody else on your schedule. You go in there at 10-2, and you say, hey, I lost 2 games. I lost to a Miami team that possibly is going to be the ACC champion, or at least in the ACC championship, who is bound to be a playoff team unless something happens to Carson Beck. And then you've got a team like Georgia Tech that they're going to look at their strength of schedule, who they've played nobody in the ACC, and they have no signature wins unless they beat Georgia at the end of the season. If they lose to Georgia, they'll be 11-1, and then they'll have to play in the ACC championship against Miami. So then you've got those 2 teams. You've got your win against Alabama. So then it will be up to what Alabama has done for the rest of the season and what they believe the conference or the committee believes that Alabama loss in the beginning of the year. Does it really matter to Alabama? And if they say no, then there's that possibility that you could be the first team out. But I don't think it's a make or break because losses in a good conference are always going to happen, and there's a good chance that everybody but Georgia Tech loses at least 1, if not 2 games.
I just really worry about a couple of different things for Florida State because you lose to Virginia, then let's just say, God forbid, you lose to Miami this weekend. So you have back-to-back losses. You got a Pittsburgh team that is
trash.
Stanford team is trash. Wake Forest, trash. And then you got Clemson, who's got 3 losses. You got to basically have them win out to be a okay game. Virginia Tech just beat NC State this past weekend, but they're not good either.
Nope.
NC State, no. They might be an 8-4, 7-5 team, and then Florida, who might be a train wreck. Yeah. When you're looking at 10-2. Is it really enough to elevate, unless Bama just doesn't lose another game and they're in the top 5, does that really indicate at that point? I mean, that makes me nervous just because, you didn't include Florida State as an undefeated team in 2023. What makes you think it's going to happen at 10-2 with the 12-team playoff at that point?
Because there's 12 teams and not 4. That's the first thing that pops into my head. Mm-hmm. And the easy comparison is to compare this 10-2, let's just say, for instance, that they do lose to the Hurricanes and then they went out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 10-2. The easy comparison is what? The Hurricanes from last year who went 10-2. But the difference is that Miami didn't lose to top-notch teams. You know, who was it? Syracuse, and then I can't remember who the other one was.
Was it
Pittsburgh?
SMU.
Oh, it was SMU.
Yeah.
Was it? No, it wasn't SMU.
All right. Well, yeah, no, it wasn't SMU. They played.
It was somebody up north. But anyway, it was somebody up north, and it definitely wasn't Louisville. Anyway, it was when they lost. They lost 2 of the last 3 games against mid-teams. Florida State's losing to a Miami team that could probably end up in the ACC championship if they win this weekend, correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to hope that Virginia wins a bunch of games and wins like 8 or 9 games this season. Because if they end up being 6-6, it's not a quality loss if there's such a thing, right?
Right.
And then so you basically have to pull for Virginia a little bit throughout the season and pull for Bama. So it's a quality win. So the actual chance for a 10-2 ACC team to make it into the playoffs is more of a reality than it was with the Hurricanes last year.
And the difference is definitely the 4 teams going to 12. But the other deal is that the ACC's body of work, the ACC is stronger this year than they've ever been. And I've been saying this from the beginning. They're as strong from top to bottom as they've ever been because they're going to eat each other a little bit. You're going to see Virginia beat this team and that team. You're going to see Georgia Tech beat this team. You know, Georgia Tech, the only reason why they are going to scave through and probably be undefeated until they get to Georgia is because their schedule. They don't have Florida State. They don't have Miami. They're lower level. I think they do have Louisville, but that'll be their only shot about losing a game. And so that's where, you know, I think that's the part that's going to be the big kicker for the ACC, for Florida State, teams like that. Because when you look at it, you've got an SEC teams that are doing the same thing. It's going to be the same way with the SEC this year as well, as it always is, because you've got a good Vanderbilt team. You've got a good Missouri team. You've got a decent Mississippi State team. Auburn's offense stinks, but their defense is really good. You've got an undefeated Ole Miss. You can't count LSU out just yet. You can't count Georgia out. You can't. You look at it, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia, and we're not even in October, and all 3 of them has already got 1 loss on the year. So really, if you look at it, this year realistically is wide open, and it's going to be up to the committee. Is it going to be saying whether or not they're the quality of wins, and then who beat you? And that's really what, you know, what Jeff said, it makes sense, is that you will have to pull for Virginia to beat those teams that aren't so strong and don't throw an egg against, you know, I don't know their schedule, but just can't throw any eggs out there to a terrible team and really knock them out. You want Virginia to lose 2 to 3 games, but you don't want them to really be outside of 30th ranked team in the country. That's about where you want them to stay. And Florida State will be just fine because the SEC is going to eat each other up. Because you can say what you want, but the Lane Train, he's popular right now. Everybody in Florida wants him to come down there, but he's probably going to throw a game as well. There's probably going to be a letdown for them as well. Missouri, Vanderbilt, you really don't know what they're going to do. If Alabama and Georgia, if they're able to win out, they're in. You know what I mean? So realistically, that's what Florida State's got to do. Are they going to lose to Miami? I don't know. They might. But they can't lose any more than 2.
I just wonder, and this is kind of the bigger thing too, I wonder what's going to happen to a team like Penn State, for example, that just lost to Oregon this past weekend. If they go in because, you know, let's just face it, they're probably going to go 10-2, and then are they in at 10-2?
Yes.
Yeah. Because they'll beat who's their other loss? They play Ohio State or no?
Penn State just lost to Oregon.
No, I know that, but do they play?
They play Ohio State.
If they play Ohio State, that'll be where they go in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the top of the hour. We're going to take our next break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this Florida State-Miami game. Who's going to win? You're listening to the Sports Blitz here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Only 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and so much more. The new app for the sports fanatic is available at the Apple Store and Google Play. From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Tuesday. The remainder of the day, some sun and an 86 with a gentle breeze out of the north around 11 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with lows around 71. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a gentle breeze and a temperature near 86. Moving into Thursday, about the same with a high of 84 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida, Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Mothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Being the world's #1 auto brand is a lot of fun. Camrys and Tacomas, Land Cruisers and Grand Highlanders. Toyotas are just built to be better.
And that's exactly how we built Panama City Toyota, to give you a better experience.
Where your needs always come first. Where you can relax with a great cup of coffee or browse the Heritage Collection. While we help you add the perfect vehicle to your collection. Come see us today at Panama City Toyota.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. This is the Sports Blitz. We don't just talk sports. We start fires. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The sound, you know what time it is. It's 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. We're pumped up, primed up, and ready to go. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We're pumped up and ready because you know what Tuesdays bring. That is the Florida State fans. And this week, they are playing against Miami. Woo-wee! And I'm excited about Florida State, Miami. Everybody in the Panhandle's excited about it. And I'm just telling you, we're pumped up about it. And we've got Taylor Devers on the phone line, Norvell Central Chop Chat, and we're going to discuss it. Taylor, with this big game coming up, Florida State has got to be able to do a few things. Number one, they've got to make sure they put the loss to Virginia behind them. They cannot look back. And I was listening to what Gus was talking about, and Gus was saying the same exact thing. It's a loss. It's just part of the game. It's something that you got to go through, and we got to look forward, not backwards. Do you agree with the way Gus is kind of approaching this now?
I definitely do. I think he's going to be more aggressive now at this point. This is going to be a lot of inside runs. Basically test your aggression on this team and show that defensive line for Miami is nothing.
Woo! Could you say that one more time? The defensive line at Miami is what?
Yeah, they're nothing. Ruben Bain and Messidor are nothing. Florida State's going to be able to run through this team.
Ooh, wow. Oh, man. That's what I'm talking about. So You know, this game has more implications just a win-loss. This has more implications than just ACC. You know as well as I do, these kids that live in Florida, they grow up Florida State fans, they grow up Miami fans, but they want to go to the place that wins the most football games. They want to go to the place that is going to pay them to play football as well. But this game is going to have big time recruiting implications. And you know as well as I do, everybody that gets an opportunity to come to this game, Doak Campbell is going to be hopping, and the atmosphere is going to be electric. How important is this game for the recruits?
Oh, it's very, very important. One of Florida State's best prospects that have committed to the class right now is Chauncey Kennan. He's actually from Sarasota, Florida, 5-star cornerback. They also have another 5-star class of 27 kid coming down as well. This is major recruiting implications for this game. You look at the Miami, Florida State, it speaks for itself. These kids want to play down south. You know, you got the glitz and the glamour of Miami, but then you also have the winning tradition at Florida State. It's going to be a clash that Florida State fans are going to love because you're going to see these recruits excited. You're going to see the fans excited. Doak Campbell Stadium is going to be electric at night. I just cannot wait.
And that's the big picture. You got to be ready to go. The atmosphere has got to be electric. Every household in Florida is probably going to be watching this. All the bars, all the restaurants are going to have it on the TVs. It's going to be a powerful night for the state of Florida. And when you look at it, you've got two guys that are coming in that are the quarterbacks for this. You got Tommy Castellanos and you've got Carson Beck. Now, Carson Beck has played in these atmospheres before. Tommy Castellanos being at home, it's going to be a big help to him. And when you look at these two quarterbacks, they're a little bit different. Obviously, Tommy is more of a runner, and Carson Beck is more of a pocket passer. Who do you think has the edge in this game based off the defenses that they're going to see?
And this isn't just to say that I'm a Florida State fan. This is completely non-biased. I think Carson Beck is the better quarterback, but I do think Thomas Castellanos has the advantage. He's at home. Carson Beck, this is his first game away from the state of Florida. Well, not really the state of Florida, but away from his home in down in Coral Gables. I think this could be an opportunity for Florida State to take advantage. You saw Ty Simpson. You saw how rattled he was in that Doak Campbell Stadium crowd. Next thing you know, he settles down, he gets to Georgia, and he realizes, this Georgia Stadium right here isn't as rowdy as Florida State was that night on opening night. So we'll definitely see, but I do like Carson Beck as a quarterback. I think he is the better quarterback, obviously, but I do think Castellanos has an advantage because you can also use his legs as well as his throwing ability as well.
Well, and that's what you've got to understand about Miami. I believe that this is going to be one of those games to where if the defenses do show up to play, the quarterbacks really have to be on their A game. They can't come in there. The team, you know, and I get it. Virginia had 3 turnovers and Florida State had 3 turnovers. If that happens, I believe you'll see the same result. Miami will win the football game because they're explosive. But that's the big kicker for the offense. I believe Gus understands that. Obviously, he's smart. But when you look at the offense, the big point is what you said, and that is in a Gus Malzahn-led offense, you've got to be able to run the football, and they've got to be able to stop the dive. The dive of Malzahn's play, the off tackle, the grittiness, the power running is what he's going to be leaning on. And if he can get those yards, if he can get those 3 to 4 to 5 yards and put them in 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6, you know, so that he can get a 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, somewhere around that, then that's the wins that Gus is going to have. And if he can do that, that's going to be the kicker and the key to their victory to be able to move the football, because that's how you win football games with a running quarterback.
Yeah, I think the running game is going to be super important in this game. I like Florida State's running backs, and guess what? Florida State is going to be bringing back Roydell Williams in this game. Mike Norvell's special. You saw the big run against Alabama on 4th and 1. He was able to get that first down with Roydell Williams. I'm not saying he's going to break the world on fire with, 8 carries for 100 yards. You might get 8 carries for 16, 17. It might be the most important short yardage 8 carries you'll probably ever see in this game. But I do think having that veteran experience in the backfield kind of showing the more veteran experience you have, the better in these big games, I think is going to be very important for Florida State.
Now, Jeff, whenever we started talking, we had Joe Sadecki on, and he was talking about Carson Beck, and he was comparing him to Bernie Kosar. He was comparing him to the Miami greats at quarterback.
Yeah.
When you first started hearing that, you wasn't very high on Carson Beck. You were a little iffy on Carson Beck, and after seeing him play, knowing that they had a bye week to prepare for Florida State, how do you feel like Carson Beck has played up to this point, and what kind of game do you think he's going to have?
I mean, 280 yards, 280 yards. That's what I think he's going to do. I don't think he's going to turn over the ball much either, but, it's just all about game day, right?
I mean, it is, but like when you look at how they run their offense, Mario Cristobal is still an offensive line coach. I mean, that's what he's done his whole life. So when you look at it, they're wanting to win in the trenches as well. So is this a possibility that who can run the football the best is going to win the game instead of who's going to throw the ball the best?
No, absolutely not. Because every college football team right now wants to try and run the ball and run the ball good, and not a lot of teams are doing it very well right now.
Well, what is that based off of, though? Just yards? You can't base it off of yards because it's really what I was talking about. When you get those 2nd and 4, 2nd and 6.
So you're playing small ball, and I don't believe that Gus Malzahn even wants to play small ball. He wants to have the big yardage gains, the 12, the 15, the 20-yard plays.
But he can't get those if he can't run between the tackles. He can't spread everything out unless it's a factor of them having to stop the run up the middle. You know what I mean? Off tackle, he still has the dives. They have to do that because as an offense, you can't just be one-dimensional. I can hit the corners and then make a couple of passes or roll my quarterback out every time. He's got to be able to sit back there, take that RPO type style handoff and run it up the gut or off tackle for at least 3 to 4 yards.
You don't always have to have that.
I mean, I think it's imperative.
Milroe was a quarterback for Bama last year. He didn't stay within the tackles, and he would run the ball, off tackle, right, on LSU all day long.
But when they lost,
Sellers is killing LSU on that too.
But when they lost,
they
stopped that.
They stopped that.
They made them one-dimensional. They made him stay in the pocket and throw the football.
Yeah, it's not a must. I'm sorry. And
I disagree.
I think there's a lack of good running backs this year.
Yeah, I mean, that could be, but I still disagree with you. I believe you got to run the football because
traditionally, yes.
I still think you do because
but not this year.
Yes, I still do. I totally 100% disagree with you because when you look at the ACC, when you look at the SEC, when you look at the Big Ten, those are the 3 biggest conferences. And if you look at the teams that are winning the football games, they're the teams that are getting some production out of their running backs. Again, I'm going to make this point again. If your leading rusher is your quarterback, you've got serious problems going on, and there's going to be trouble for your offense. It may not be in this game. It might not show up in this game. But as the season gets longer and as the season opens up, you're going to have to be able to rely on a running back or at least a running back room that can get you those 2, 3, 4 yard gains that may not show up in the stat box. It may not, he got 36 yards on 7 carries. Okay, but those 7 carries allowed us to be 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, and then you watch what happens is that they start walking the safeties down a little bit more. They start walking those linebackers down a little bit more, and before you know it, they're pulling that defense into that offensive line, and then boom, they hit you, or boom, they hit you on the outside and they get the corner, and that's how you have to game plan against these teams like that. Taylor, what's your take on what me and Jeff are over here disagreeing about?
I think it's very important. I mean, you see Malzahn wants to be able to run the football because you don't want to put him in obvious 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8 situations where you're having to pass the ball because, let's face it, Deuce Robinson is an incredible receiver. We saw that this Friday night. He has over 350 yards, 6'6" receiver. But Florida State doesn't have really a backup wide receiver 2 right now. Squirrel White's been hurt. There hasn't been a whole lot of guys that have stepped up. And you're having to force him, like he's getting doubled, and next thing you know, you're having to find another guy to pass to in that offense. and your running game's not really working, it's a recipe for disaster. I mean, this is the Miami defense that wants to tee off, be aggressive on the defensive line, and come downhill very, very aggressively. I just don't know if the running game, if you don't have that going, you might not have anything at all in this game.
Yeah, because Tommy Castellanos, and I get it, he's done good. He beat Alabama, whatever. But he's not, if you keep him in the pocket, he's not going to stand back there and just pick you apart, especially with what you're talking about, that wide receiver core that they have at Florida State. But you've got to, and Gus has to run the football. And every time Gus runs the football between the tackles, if you look back at all the victories, back when he was the offensive coordinator at Auburn, when he was at UCF, when he was back at Arkansas, he always had those running backs, even when he had the good quarterbacks. And that's going to be his key. If he can establish a run game against this Miami front, and I'll tell you what, Bain is as good as there is. I know you called him trash earlier or whatever you said. He's as good as there is as far as being a defensive lineman. But when you look at it, Gus is going to try to establish that run. And if he establishes the run, that's where the game could get interesting. I don't think necessarily that Miami's built like an SEC team on the defensive line. They've got stars there, but I don't know about their depth there. I haven't seen them enough. I know that they were able to weather the storm of the Notre Dame running attack, in which that's really where they beat Notre Dame, is being able to stop the run and causing C.J. Carr to beat them with his arm, and he couldn't do it. But when you look at Miami, they're going to do everything they can to stop the run first, and then worry about Castellanos next.
I will say this. I don't know if anybody had saw this on Twitter before Ruben Bain has actually deleted his tweet, but he put hashtag just another bye week coming into this matchup and deleted it. Ruben Bain's a very talented kid. He had 36 sacks in his senior season at Miami Central. Very talented guy. One of his family members is actually one of the assistant coaches over at Miami, so kind of became evident that he wasn't coming to Florida State. He was always going to go to Miami. It kind of became destined for him at this point. This is personal for Florida State's offense. They want to be able to challenge him, kind of get him uncomfortable, having those read option plays with Castellanos and some of the other running backs as well to kind of put him off balance a little bit. I think him and Mesidor are going to try to be too aggressive. Maybe Castellanos can kind of climb up into the pocket, get a first down, kind of move the chains, keep it going. I think this could be an opportunity for Florida State to take that aggression off the defensive end on his tweet to the game results where Florida State can try to get a win.
Do you think that with the coaching styles of being familiar with one another, do you think that that's going to play into any of this, because Gus and Cristobal have played against each other?
Yeah, I definitely think it would be. The biggest thing, though, too, is Cristobal has always talked about the line of scrimmage. He wants to attack you with the line of scrimmage. The way he recruits very, very well. I won't even deny that. As much as I do not like the orange and green down there, it is a factor that Cristobal absolutely recruits well. He just cannot get his players up to the challenge of actually going and competing at these higher games and actually finishing the job. He could do that this year, obviously, but I think there is kind of like a discrepancy between his team, what they do on the field rather than what they do on the recruiting trail. But just coming from Gus, being an inside zone runner, you were trying to have Bain and Mesidor trying to come up the middle on these defensive end stunts. Being able to contain the quarterback on those read options can be very hectic for Florida State if they want to win this game.
And that's the key. I mean, we can sit here all day long and talk about schemes. We can talk about what they need to do. But at the end of the day, the person or the team or the players, whatever, when they get to the game, they're going to have to play to their potential or play out of their minds. And, obviously we've got the resident Miami fan talking on Facebook a little bit, and he says that they're 3 deep at the defensive line position, that the linebackers are playing out of their mind right now, and Bain is the truth. He's the real deal. And so, really, they know what they've got as far as Miami, and also Florida State knows what they've got as well. Do you think that Miami has the edge with them having that bye week in between the 2 games?
It definitely could help. I mean, that's a big factor going into it, too, is like you're playing fresh at this point. You're not having to worry about it could be a look-ahead spot. You're rested too much during the bye week. But no, their focus is going to be forever on Florida State. It's their Super Bowl. That's the only time that crowd actually shows up to Miami. What do you think is going to happen at Florida State? They might actually come down for this Florida State game, actually.
Yeah, that's true. I know that, I will say that Chris said that he's excited about the Hurricanes going to Tallahassee.
Oh, man. That's rough.
I like it.
So, I don't know. That's a tough deal.
I'm going to say something about Tallahassee as a city. I think a lot of people don't go there, and a lot of people don't realize that the east side of the town is really developing as a suburb, and north side of town has a lot of money and a lot of good people that, I don't want to say work hard, but there's definitely a lot of money floating on the north side of town. Tallahassee is a different city than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's developing.
Well, I've just ridden through there. I haven't really stayed there very long.
People who travel through think it hasn't changed, but it has, for the better.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And with winning football, people will want to come there.
Yeah, because, let's be honest, there's a lot of college towns that are a little lacking, And especially, I don't know if you've ever noticed, there's a lot of college towns where you get right off campus and it's the hood. And Baton Rouge was like that when I lived when I was at LSU. And that side of town has actually I won't say gentrified, but basically it has.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
Taylor, this is not anything to deal with Florida State, but I'm going to ask this question to Jeff. Being from Louisiana and all, do you know Master P?
No, I don't know Master P, but it's funny because I think he gets overlooked a lot. Because it's sad that I have an opinion on this, but I do listen to rap music, and I do respect Master P and the music that he made and everything. I'm actually entertained by it, but I think with all the, what happened was he hit, and then after that, all the other New Orleans artists hit, and Lil Wayne is he's the big time, right?
Right.
And all the other guys who came with Lil Wayne, they kind of blew up right after Master P. So Master P gets overlooked, and you could ask somebody like my daughters and say, hey, honey, do you know who Master P is? And they won't know because of the timing that he hit with all of his hits.
Yeah.
And I do respect his craft.
Taylor, do you know who Master P is?
I do. I also wanted to give a shout out to the fans out there. T-Pain is also doing a concert in Tallahassee next month at the Tucker Center. So if anybody wants to go see that as well, they can go see that. He's actually doing his reunion tour since he's from Tallahassee.
I think I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, I think it was T-Pain. Last year in February, he was in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, and he gave away a free concert over there for the Senior Bowl. Yeah,
nice.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. We're going to take our next break. You never would have thought that you would have heard 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds talk about rap music, and we make them say, na-na-na-na. Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN. We'll be right back.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 Studio Line. ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Coming up on October 31st, it's the Cal G Squires inaugural golf tournament benefiting the Angel House Bereavement Center, the only provider of clinical grief counseling in Bay County. Costumes are encouraged for this fun day at Bay Point. Prizes for a hole-in-one, longest drive, closest to the pin, and best costume. To register you or your team, go to angelhousebci.org.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear skies tonight with a gentle breeze out of the northeast around 8 miles per hour, and look for the low to be 71. Tomorrow morning, there will be mostly sunshine with the temperature reaching 80. Partly sunny in the afternoon and evening with a high of 86. Thursday will have a high of 85 and sunshine. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida, Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design, build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Falls loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. The Sports Blitz.
Woo! Welcome home, baby.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Don't forget, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is hitting the streets. Join us live on location this Saturday night at the Lone Star Boyle House and Sports Bar for your Miami Hurricanes at the Florida State Seminoles. Watch the game on the outdoor Jumbotron, biggest one in Panama City. The atmosphere is going to be wild and plenty of choices on food with the local favorite for seafood. Plus, you can win a pair of tickets to see the Jacksonville Jaguars and ESPN Northwest Florida Station Stash. The Canes versus the Noles at the Lone Star Boyle House, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City, Saturday night with 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. The party starts at 6 o'clock. Kickoffs at 6:30. Local legend, celebrity, LSU Jeff's probably going to be there signing T-shirts and giving away free ESPN
You'll be
gear.
eating food right off your plate.
Yeah.
Are you eating that? I'll eat that for you.
If you want to buy Jeff a drink or if you want to talk football or whatever, he'll be there signing autographs, hugging necks, and kissing babies.
Kissing babies.
So anyway, we're excited about it. It's going to be an awesome time there. Go join them. Go have a good time over there. We're talking with Taylor Devers on Norvell Central Chop Chat. Taylor, obviously, you're going to be glued in at the stadium at the game, or else you'd probably be at the Lone Star Bowl House.
That's right.
Signing autographs with Jeff as well.
That's right. I wish that College Game Day came down to the game. Paul, Jeff, how do you feel about Alabama hosting College Game Day?
Vandy? You know, let me tell you how I insulted and hurt Paul's feelings. I do this from time to time because it's what I do. But I was picking the 10 games that we should pick for the week, and I left off Alabama Vandy. And
probably on purpose.
No, I did not do it on purpose. And I was reaching actually for some weak games. He knows because he saw the list. And he just, like, he didn't yell at me, but he texted me and said, how could you leave off Alabama? And I'm like, because they're playing Vandy, man. And I don't care that, you know, that they got upset last year. The game was in Nashville, and this year it's in Tuscaloosa. I just didn't feel like it was a game where we were going to pick different and that there was any controversy that Vanderbilt was going to pull an upset this year.
And you know what, Taylor? I'm glad you brought it up because, yeah, I am going to say a little bit. And, yeah, he did make me mad a little bit. He put South Alabama and Troy on there, but he didn't put Alabama and Vanderbilt on there. Alabama-Vanderbilt is the biggest game of the week. Probably because game day is going there. You've got an undefeated Vanderbilt team, and you got a one-loss Alabama team who's coming off a great victory over the Georgia Bulldogs. So when you look at this game, this is the opportunity for Alabama to showcase and to show people that Vanderbilt is going to deserve what they get this year. I get it. You don't think Vanderbilt's this or that, but I'm telling you, Vanderbilt is a good team. You don't believe that Vanderbilt could go over to the ACC and probably be in the ACC championship?
No.
Who do you think could beat Vanderbilt in the ACC right now?
Right now? See, that's the thing. It's week by week. I think on most weeks, NC State could beat Vanderbilt.
I think you need to go back to
Georgia Tech could definitely beat them. Louisville can beat them. Miami can beat them. And Florida State can beat them. I just named 5 teams.
Just because you named them doesn't mean it's going to happen. There's no possible way that Louisville.
7 out of 10 times NC State's going to beat Vanderbilt. 7 out of 10 times. Mark my words.
We need to check your bottle for what's in there because you must be drunk. Because there's no possible way. Did you see how they manhandled a Texas A&M team? I mean, a South Carolina team. Did you see that?
Wait, who did?
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt didn't beat South. Oh, South Carolina. I was thinking South Florida. Yeah, they did, actually. Held them to 7 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling
That's 1 week.
Okay.
1 week.
But I'm just telling you.
They're losing this week, and if we're going to pick a score, you're going to be shocked at how much I'm going to say Bama's going to win by.
I'm excited about that, but don't ever forget when you go up for a game, the next game, even though you might have lost to them the year before, there's always that little bit of drag, and it's going to be at home, and it's going to be there. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be closer than people think because you can't not look at Vanderbilt and watch their body of work. They do the things that you're supposed to do. They run the football. They play good defense. Their quarterback has been there for a while. I'm just telling you, this game was way better and way bigger than a South Alabama versus Troy game, and I'm offended that you would even put it on the schedule and not put my Crimson Tide on there. See what you done caused, Taylor? You done caused me to get upset with Jeff in the studio, and you're, an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
I will say this. You can't disrespect the Battle of the Belts.
Is that what it's called?
I'll say that. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Really?
He's talking about South Alabama and Troy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. That's better. Okay.
Yeah, not.
I didn't think that Vandy was playing for any kind of belt of anything.
Well, I tell you this. Do you think that, obviously, Florida State has done this to themselves. Miami and Florida State being undefeated, no doubt. That was going to be the game day game. But because Florida State threw the egg against Virginia, now they had to go to Alabama because it is a big game, and it's probably on the same level because this is the deal. If Alabama doesn't beat Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt goes undefeated for this, wins this game, and they're undefeated after this part that they've been in the season, we got to start really talking about whether or not Vanderbilt's actually legitimately has an opportunity to play for an SEC championship.
Yeah, I just don't understand why fans are getting so riled up about this. College Game Day didn't choose Florida State. They lost. They didn't handle business. But the biggest thing is you have Lee Corso coming back to Tallahassee potentially for the game to do, the pregame and having all the antics there. You have Kurt Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, and Holly Rowe are going to be doing the announcing for the game. And then you're also going to have ACC Huddle with former coach Jimbo Fisher at the game as well to give you an intriguing storyline also. So those three pieces together, and it's a night game in Tallahassee. You're not have to sit to the Tallahassee Sun. But besides the point, that's a huge development for Florida State fans to get excited about.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think that, when they lost, it just took away the flavor, and I think they're already had their programming set, and there was no way they could change the actual programming. They could just change their location as far as to let Herbstreit and Fowler and those guys fly over to Florida State. But when you look at that, you said something that is intriguing that I wanted to bring up. So what do you think Jimbo Fisher's welcoming at Florida State is going to be like when they first see him there?
I don't know who's going to get more boos, Herbstreit or Fisher. I really don't. It's a complicated system. He came down for the quarterback club, maybe during the summer, I think is what it was. Actually wasn't as bad as I thought. They didn't have a guy there at the microphone asking about, when he was going to get out of town and after the bad start. It wasn't as awkward as I thought. So maybe Florida State fans are getting past it, but we haven't gotten the national championship since that point, so we'll see.
Well, and that's what we talked about. We kind of was talking before the show today, kind of talking about some things that were going on in the college football world. And Jeff made up a good point, is that a lot of these coaches that some of the fans, at the time was calling for their heads and calling for them to leave, they still love them. Coach O at LSU, Bobby Petrino at Arkansas, and then can we add that name? Would he be another one, Jeff? Would Jimbo Fisher be another one that you would think? Because
no.
I still think he's going to get booed.
No, because he left on good terms. Well, I'll say good terms. He left on a good situation and went to A&M. It was kind of like, I'd rather be over here. It's like dumping a girlfriend and going and saying, she's prettier. No, really.
Yeah, I hate that poor old Christmas tree that got left on the side of the road after he finished. Because, man, what an eventful time at Florida State that was.
Yeah, and I mean, because so you think that the way they leave is probably the reasoning behind it. So they're going to boo him, whereas LSU probably would just scream and clap for Coach O because he lost and had a bad team, and that's why they got rid of him.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So that's what you think. Do you think that too, Taylor?
Who got rid of who?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Who got rid of who?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. So let's look at it.
I mean, Lane Kiffin in Tennessee. Right?
Well, they threw golf balls at him.
Oh, oranges, ketchup, mustard. Mustard was the best, I thought. Because there was anything from the condiment stand inside the stadium.
Yeah, but
they were stealing stuff.
I know, but they threw a golf ball at him, and it rang his pocket. It went right into his pocket.
They did have a lot of crazy stuff thrown at him.
Yeah, and they were throwing stuff all over the field. I mean, that was a nasty. We need to talk to Brandon about that. Them toxic Tennessee Volunteer fans.
I don't know if you know this, but back in the 80s, LSU would qualify for a certain bowl, and they would throw. They went to the Orange Bowl twice. LSU fans were throwing oranges onto the field at the end of the game, like towards the end of the season and everything. And then there was one time where we were going to Sugar Bowl and people were throwing sugar onto the field. It was pretty entertaining.
Don't take much for these LSU fans. Oh, God.
The creativity
is so good. All right, so we do pick'ems on Wednesdays, but we are going to do some pick'ems with you today, Taylor, of the ACC games that we've got on target. Now, we will talk about this Virginia-Louisville game. Do you believe Virginia has it in them again to come out and beat an undefeated team? Because you got an undefeated Louisville team coming in, Miller Moss being the quarterback, having a decent season. Brahms got them playing good. They're undefeated. And this is really, for them, a key. They've got to win these type of games. They've got to win against teams that they feel like they can win against. So as far as Virginia, Louisville, what do you think about that one?
I'll be cheering for Virginia, but it's going to be a 2-touchdown loss for Virginia.
You think Louisville's got that big of an offense that they're not going to be able to stop them?
Yeah, it's on the road. It's at 2:30. It's not a early morning game. It's going to be Virginia's going to kind of swelter down a little bit, and I think Louisville's got them handled.
Well, Louisville, it's pretty. They get pretty rowdy over there. It's not like a quiet stadium, but they get pretty rowdy over there. And I trust Brian Brohm. I do. I think he's a legitimate coach. I mean, obviously. Louisville's got a tall task to make it to the ACC championship and possibly get into the playoffs. But, when you're undefeated and you're hosting somebody at home that just upset somebody, this should be one of those games where they should be ready and they should know what Florida State did that worked and be able to use that against them.
Yeah, it's going to be really weird with that whole situation. It's just going to be a crazy game, crazy atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to the next game that we've got, Clemson and UNC. If you look at it, we got Dabo and Belichick. I mean, this one was probably at the beginning of the season one of those games that you would have put a star by, but it's no longer. It has lost its flavor. Belichick coming over to the college ranks just doesn't look like he knows what's going on in the college game yet. And obviously, they're giving him some time to learn the game and and kind of understand it, because this is totally different than the NFL. But is it when Dabo and them, they're gonna finally turn it around and win a game?
Yeah, I think Dabo Swinney and Clemson, they win by 2 touchdowns in this one as well.
Wow! So you got 2 touchdowns for both of those. That's pretty surprising.
Can I throw a third game in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Syracuse at SMU.
I'm definitely going to go SMU. I don't love Ricky Collins over there. I'm sorry, Jeff. I apologize.
No,
but
I know exactly what you're talking about, too.
Yeah, he just gross. Gross offense, disgusting. I really, really, really do like Syracuse. I think they got a lot of great things going over there with Fran Brown, but it's a gross thing. I just don't expect them to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can't believe it's a 17.5-point spread that SMU's favored by that much against Syracuse. I don't think they're going to cover that spread.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. We do have a Facebook comment. Roll Tide, you're right, Paul. Vanderbilt might be a problem. They're a good team. I think it's going to be a good game, and Bama better bring their A game. I'm picking Bama, but can't fool around. He said last week, Taylor, I think he had a prediction. Florida State 45, Virginia 38, and but it was 46 Virginia, 38 Florida State. So he picked the right score, but it was just with the wrong team. So so that was pretty close.
You know that now that we're bringing this up, because I do remember this. I can't remember what the spread I had on it. Maybe like a 17-point win for Florida State. You were the closest, actually. You said 24-21 that Florida State was only going to win by 3 points. And you were the closest.
Wow. I think
everybody picked Florida State.
And you laughed at me. If my memory.
No, I did more like a what? Like they only going to score 24-21, and I was a little surprised though at the spread, the point that you said, but you were the one that was closest for sure.
Yeah, I just didn't score. I didn't let them score as many points. I didn't say they was going to score that much.
Yeah, but this was an overtime game, and regulation, was it 35-35?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's it. Yep.
All touchdowns. Isn't that crazy?
Very.
In regulation.
Yeah, that was what was silly. But didn't Florida State miss a field goal?
Yeah, they did.
Yes, they did. Yes.
Yeah, that's a problem. They can't do that with Miami. They can't. Every chance they get to score, they got to score.
That's what Florida State does, miss field goals.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird situation there, though, too. I mean, they had like a 3rd and 3, and Tommy slipped on a read option play, and it got 4th and 3, and then they had to kick a 39-yard field goal and missed. So, I mean, that kind of sucks. That's not an ideal situation there.
Okay, so before we take the break, Miami, Florida State, because when we come back, we're going to talk about the AP. But give me your score, Miami, Florida State.
38-35, Florida State.
38-35, Florida State. All right, you heard it here. When we come back, we're going to discuss the AP poll. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text him now on the Red 7T's studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Here we go. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson will be awarding the Sports Blitz High School Player of the Week. This will go to the outstanding high school football player for each week. The player will receive a gift card from a local restaurant and an ESPN Northwest Florida t-shirt. Coaches, Students, parents, and fans, comment on our Facebook page or call in at 850-215-6290 to nominate.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear skies tonight with a gentle breeze out of the northeast around 8 miles per hour, and look for the low to be 71. Tomorrow morning, there will be mostly sunshine with the temperature reaching 80. Partly sunny in the afternoon and evening with a high of 86. Thursday will have a high of 85 and sunshine. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida, Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida airs the biggest games of the week from the SEC, ACC, and beyond. If it matters in college football, it's on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Sports Blitz.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We're excited about being here, and you know what? We can't do it without our great sponsors, AutoNation Ford in Panama City. They do it right. They are a good dealership that takes care of their people, and that's the key to having good service, is that you take care of your people. You need something done on your car? Take it over there to AutoNation Ford in Panama City. They'll get you fixed up and get your vehicle back to running shape. 730 West 15th Street, Panama City. Go see them and tell them Paul sent you. Also, if you have any kind of cosmetic things going on with your vehicle, maybe it's a paint, maybe it's chips, maybe it's dents, maybe your bumper is hanging or something's wrong, you can take it over there to Recommended Collision Center. They're on Jinx Avenue right there at 15th Street. You can't miss them. Take a right off 15th Street, take a right on Jinx, and they're right there on the right. Great guys over there. They know what they're doing. They're professional, and they're professional to you. They care about the customers. They're a local-owned business, and they are wonderful to people. Call, go visit them. Whatever you need to do, get an estimate for your vehicle. They do quality work over there. And also tell them that the Sports Blitz sent you, because you will get a discount. So either way, we appreciate the sponsorships all the way from over here on the other side of the bridge. We're talking with Taylor Devers here with Chop Chat Norvell Central. You know, Taylor, your score was pretty high, so you do believe that it's going to be one of those games that is going to have a lot of points.
Yeah, and I actually don't think it's going to be because of the defense struggling. I don't think it's going to be a repeat of what happened against Virginia where they weren't wrapping up. I think it could be a game where it has maybe a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown. It just seems like that type of game. Miami doesn't really play in a road environment this year until right now. You know, Florida State's coming off of a road environment, going back home. There could be a little bit of, kind of coming back home feels. It just seems like a weird game where anything can happen in this rivalry matchup, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen in this one.
Yeah, and I wondered how the how the crowd is going to affect Miami with it being their first road test. And we were talking about at the beginning of the season how that We didn't really think Doak Campbell was going to be so loud. They took away some seats, put suites in. We wondered about the weather, all of those things. I'm not sure about the weather report this time around either. Obviously, with a passing team like Miami, it does affect them, with the rain and all that. But I do believe it's going to be loud. Having somebody like Carson Beck, though, being able to play in those hostile environments, I think it's going to bid them well as far as like being able to know that he's been there before. And that, because the quarterback position is so important with winning football games. So either way, let's dive into this. We don't have very long, but let's dive into this AP poll. And obviously we've got Ohio State, we've got Oregon. Jeff's already given thumbs down. What is the most difficult thing about this AP to you? What are you giving thumbs down for? Tell me.
All over the place.
Give me something.
Notre Dame still ranked 2-2. I don't care if you just destroyed Arkansas. Get them out of there. We got undefeated teams. You know how many undefeated teams there are that aren't ranked?
How many?
6 of them. That's insanity. That's crazy. And you have a 2-2 Notre Dame team in there. I know you lost by 3. I know you lost by 1 point. Get them out of there.
But they lost at home.
Don't care.
No, I'm saying they lost at home. That's good.
Because they on the road.
No, they lost at home.
Against Texas A&M?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care if you lose by a half a point. If you lose at home, that should drop you down.
And I'm not talking about UNLV. I thought Memphis was going to be number 24 or 25 coming into this week. And you know what another thing was? Florida State. Now you're going to hear me. Now look, I might not defend Florida State all the time, but they went from 8 to 18. Who did they beat this year? Alabama. Where's Alabama? 12 or 10? 10. So you telling me an number 18 Florida State team who beat Bama, number 10, by 2 touchdowns. That's insanity. They have the same record, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's crazy. It's got to be a lot closer than that. I texted you on Thursday night after the game.
Yeah.
Florida State had lost. We didn't know what was going to happen on Saturday, but we did know that there were teams above Florida State that obviously weren't going to fall behind Florida State, Oregon and Penn State, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, the only what if we didn't know was, would Georgia lose to Bama? But assuming that Georgia was going to win and that Georgia would not fall behind Florida State, I asked you, what do you think? Florida State number 12? I thought they were only going to fall like 4 spots, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And they fell 10?
10 spots.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Florida State is number 12. I'm just saying at this point in the season, they should be somewhere up in that range from 12 to 14.
Well, and if you look at it, they value Virginia.
Yeah.
So how do you drop a team 10 spots but value the team that beat them by bringing them into the top 25? Virginia's at 24.
And they lost by 4 points to NC State on the road.
Right. So really, that it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't math for me. And then you got to look at Arizona State team that's 25th that's already lost 1 game
to Mississippi State.
Yeah, to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
But still, it's Mississippi State.
It is Mississippi State. You're right.
So what do you think about it, Taylor, with Florida State being dropped so low? Do you think they were, that was, hideous like Jeff is saying?
Yeah, ironically enough, I had actually did a question sticker on my Instagram account, and somebody asked me, where do you think Florida State's going to land in the AP poll? And this was before it got released. I said probably around 18 because I thought this was about what the risk was. I really thought that they were going to drop this far. Didn't think they were going to get quite to 20, but I said it on the dot, 18, and the guy responds back and says, I don't think they're going to drop that low. I think we're going to be around like 13 or 14. I said, no. I think the AP voters don't really like us in terms of that. I just don't think they're going to value this loss as much as it really is on a hostile road Friday night game. And, I actually hit that right on the head, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Are you ready for the 6 teams that are undefeated?
Mm-hmm.
Louisville, Houston, Maryland. Nobody realized Maryland's undefeated. Navy, Memphis, and North Texas.
And out of those teams, who do you think legitimately deserves a spot in the top 25?
Louisville, even though they haven't played anybody. Houston, they have played some people, but they have nobody else left on their schedule. And in Maryland has a big game this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think.
They're playing Washington. If Maryland beats Washington and they don't rank Maryland, they've got brain damage.
Yeah, because Washington's hung in there with Ohio State for a little while. The game wasn't a blowout.
Yeah.
It was kind of close.
Yeah.
So was you surprised how far LSU dropped to 13?
No. And it's crazy. There's a thing, I don't know if in gaming, there's a thing called ladder, okay? And if you beat number 4, you become number 4, and everybody below you shifts down. Well, guess what LSU was ranked before they played Ole Miss? 4. And Ole Miss is 4. And guess where Ole Miss was? They were 13. And guess what LSU is now? They're 13. Yep. I'm not surprised at all. But if I were to write up who I thought was where, I thought LSU actually be maybe 14 or 15.
Yeah. How do you feel about that one, Taylor?
I think it's about right, honestly. LSU, the win against Clemson doesn't really seem like a whole lot now at this point. So, I mean, you just kind of have to factor it in. I still think LSU's a good team. So.
But see, I get what you're saying, and I understand all of the strength of schedule. And we bring this up from time to time, and I think, Jeff, you brought it up from time to time. But when you're playing someone, I'm in the ballpark of saying that team is who they were at that time. I'm not talking about what they were after you beat them, because when Florida State beat Alabama, they were in the talk of making the playoff. When LSU beat Clemson, they were in the talk of the playoff. When Georgia Tech beat Clemson, they were in the talk of still making the playoff. And that's the thing, because when you beat someone, you knock them down, and what if your team was really the reason why they were exposed, or that they were thrown into this losing streak or this losing mentality for the year? So I don't take into effect. I think it's really who you play and where they're ranked at the time you play them, rather than it being, let's wait. Because if that's the case, then let's just all play all of our games, and then after it's over, just look at the win-loss record and just put them 1 through 25 or 1 through 12, and then we'll just solve the problem.
So what you're telling me is Penn State should not be in the top 25 right now, which they shouldn't be. I don't understand why they are.
I mean, Penn State?
Yeah, reputation.
Who have they beaten?
They haven't beaten anybody. You're right.
I mean, they haven't, but the game was close.
But you have 6 undefeated teams, and you have a 2-loss Notre Dame, and it's all reputation is all they're running off of.
Yeah, the Notre Dame game, the Notre Dame team is just, to me, but you know what they say, if they run the table, they're going to be in the playoff.
Yeah, I think. Well, I looked at their schedule, and USC is the one that everybody's looking at. But if you really look at the rest of the schedule, it isn't too shabby. They only have 2 losing teams.
So real quick, I don't know if you guys saw it, but do you guys know what the most expensive rosters are in the SEC?
Most expensive?
Yeah.
Texas, Longhorns.
Yep.
Gotta be.
Yep.
Were they 1 or 2?
Number 1?
Yeah. I'm going to have to say Alabama.
Alabama's number 2.
Number 2. Number 3, I want to say Georgia, but actually I'm going to go with Tennessee.
No, LSU.
What?
And then Georgia is number 4.
And then
Tennessee is 5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you got A&M at 6. Oklahoma's at 7. Auburn's at 8. Missouri's at 9. Florida's at 10. South Carolina's at 11. Ole Miss is at 12.
See, that's the most shocking thing. And then right after that, I would say Missouri and then Oklahoma being so high are actually pretty surprising.
But if you look at it, Arkansas, Mississippi State, UK, and watch this, the lowest paid team is Vanderbilt.
Oh, well. Yeah.
And they're undefeated.
5-0.
5-0.
And beat a Virginia Tech team. And who had to get rid of the coach, partially because of that and Old Dominion.
And South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, here's the crazy part. Just like you were saying, week to week and what teams are ranked.
Yeah, that's
we gotta
it.
go, huh?
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, we made it. We hope you have a great rest of your day and night. You've been listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll see you tomorrow.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN.